Okay.
So, and then we can just go ahead. Okay, so our team's looking like we're on a dive. Enemy team is looking like they are a little bit of a mix of everything. Um, maybe Brawl, I would say, is their main deal that they have going on. Okay, so we know that they have a Tracer, so we need to keep our and they have a Reaper as well, right? So if we take a look at our team, like us and Diva are kind of going to be the two main people watching out for them. So we got to make sure we're really, really paying attention to our flank angles because we're the one who has to kind of deal with that.
Okay.
Hey, I like both kinds of music.
My ultimate ability is charging.
What? Hello.
Oh, time to accelerate.
Lucky.
Okay,
I
yeah,
got
team push a little far forward there, which is unfortunate for us.
Just what the doctor ordered. It's high noon.
All right, so we've talked about reading kill feed before, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would you kind of rate the likelihood that we win this fight at?
Pretty low.
Yep.
Pretty
So using High Noon in this scenario probably is probably a waste of our ultimate, which we'll see in a second.
Draw.
2, yep. So we don't get anything with it. 2, we're probably still not going to win this fight. And 3, we're kind of staggering ourselves currently. Right, so now we're just gonna end up dying late, and then let's see where we come out of spawn where in comparison to where our team's at. All right, so team is all the way up here. So what that means is now our team is one, we've wasted time. We wasted our ultimate, and then also thirdly is this can also start a stagger train to where now these guys who are pushed up, they could, if the enemy team pushes them, they could end up dying, and then they're all the way back at spawn, and then you can kind of keep that going over and over and over again. So
Right.
it's best to start that kind of at the start by just you not staggering in the first place, right? So if we see that we're losing the fight, try to get out, and or if we're behind the enemy team, just run in and let them kill you, right? Because we probably wanted to get good spawn there. So good spawn being, you know, this spawn over here to where we can get back with our team versus spawning all the way over here.
Right.
Okay, where are we? There we are.
Much obliged.
Up the volume.
Yeah, so we see Reaper just TP'd above us. Yep, we're watching for him.
Oh, excuse me.
This will
Thank you.
improve your condition.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Get awareness on that.
Enemy contact.
High ground.
Good job taking high ground, yep. Exactly what you want to be doing.
I need a doctor.
Right. Something we probably don't need to be worried too much about doing in the middle of a fight is breaking fences. That's maybe something you can do after the fight's done. But if they're already up, don't waste time trying to break down 4 different fences, because that's just wasting a lot of time in the middle of this fight. Second off,
Yeah.
when it comes to high ground positioning, let's look at this, right? So, how many people? So we can see 4 people right now. Can we shoot at 4 people at once?
Nope.
Can 4 people at once shoot at us?
Yeah, most definitely.
Yep. So when we're looking to use high ground positioning, we want to look to use this slope here, right? Or not the slope. Oh, what do you call this? Like the platform, right? To where we can, if we back up away from the ledge, now people can't see us as easily. So instead of letting 6 people see or 4 people see us, right? We can maybe peek the very edge here to where we can just shoot at McCree from this peak corner, right? And then now 3 of them can't see us. Right, we can peek if we want to see where everyone's at, and then we just back up. But we're at an angle to where everyone can see us. it also makes it super easy for them to shoot us because it not only can they see us, but they can also see our whole body rather than just like kind of very little bit of our head. So we don't want to be so pushed forward onto this platform. We want to be a little bit further using cover, and then because we're so far forward, this is what allows us to get hooked and we die.
Gotcha.
Well, my ultimate is almost ready.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
This is gonna make you feel better.
Okay, so we got to pick and be slightly more aggressive. We're holding a little far back here. Once Reaper, get aggressive on that Reaper, right? He's out of position, and you know his fade doesn't last very long, right? So his fade's gonna need to come down, and when his fade comes down, that's a free flashbang. And right now, it looks like he's a second away from using his ultimate. If we just roll up to him, we get that flashbang on him, and he dies.
Yeah.
Right, so be aggressive on a Reaper if you know that he's super far out in the open and he just used fade, right? Because he's not gonna be able to get back to his team off of that fade.
Okay.
Someone had to do it. Seems fitting it'd be me.
I'm looking for the high noon, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
The payload is approaching its destination.
It's high noon.
Maybe make sure we're starting out the high noon when we can actually see people, right? don't wanna start the high noon when like we kind of I think we kind of press it before we even look around us. We tunnel vision on the Ana, and then now we're like, wait, huh? Nobody's there. And
Yeah.
It's high noon.
if you see an open pick like that, I think that's unfortunate because I think what happened was he shot the high noon shot the hog first, and that little bit of a
Yep.
delay let the BAP get away. So we just didn't really kind of pay attention. We weren't aware, right, of where the enemy team was at.
Thank you, kind.
Anytime.
Very nice pick. Right now we probably want to be repositioning up to like a high ground, and then that way we can look to. Oh, whoops! I didn't mean to skip over there. Or we could honestly either or works, but from the high ground we can look to duel the Reaper.
I'm under attack. My will made real. Fire's will.
Oh, there.
An expedient solution.
Right. Something that I'd like to see you do more is use your shots after your flashbang. All right. Your primary fire rather than your just right clicks. Because you can
Yeah.
hit headshots off that. And a update that I actually forgot that they added in recently was after they had lowered McCree's fire rate, they actually made his flashbang last longer. So that can help you get those 2 shots in, especially on tanks. It's gonna be wasting a lot less ammo, and you'll be getting the damage in that makes up for it.
Okay.
So it'll mean that you're saving ammo, doing it kind of more efficiently.
Power of destruction.
And I don't know what the damage numbers are. What the if you actually, I that's probably something I'd have to look into, is see which does more, two headshots or a full right click into like a tank.
Right.
Okay. We're a little out of position there, and then that meant that we wasted a lot of time that we could have spent spamming.
Mm-hmm.
So just make sure we're kind of starting off in the right position.
It's high noon. Draw.
Okay, very nice. Good high noon.
Who's got the hot hand?
Let's get you healed up. That's it.
Good flashbang. Yeah, I think we talked about it last time. Just remember, especially if they're outside of your like right click reach, then we're adding in the left clicks.
Yeah. It's a bad habit.
Yeah, and that's when you can probably look to practice in free for alls and quick play games, stuff like that. That's one of when it's like more mechanical like that. It doesn't necessarily need to be comp. just practice getting in the left clicks in a quick play arena, and then or a FFA, and then it'll be a lot easier when you're actually in a game.
Okay.
Very nice.
An expedient solution.
Okay, so far I think we're making pretty good decisions. Mechanics are looking pretty solid. Unless we miss those 4 shots. No.
This will heal you.
I just see the team going, so I decided it's probably better for me to be with the team than alone.
I'll show Hog, make sure we're not standing still long enough for him to hook us.
Yeah.
Really want to get healed up. I think we're looking for high noon here, something like that. Probably not a good decision to drop, right? So for two reasons. First off, because of the fact that they know we're here. Second off, because of the fact that we're half HP, right? So we need
Right.
healing, and they also know that we're here because we were just shooting at them. So this is not a surprise advantage anymore, right? The reason why you would
Right.
go on something like this is because it's a surprise advantage. But if you know that the only thing here is Hog, because you just saw Hog was the last thing to run down here, and Hog knows you're here, this results in you getting hooked and dying, right? So
Right.
not a smart decision combining I think 3 factors of 1, you're low, 2, it's not a surprise, 3, Hog knows you're there, right? And then all 3 of
Yeah.
those resulted in us getting hooked and dying. So instead, something that might be a lot more efficient is just walking back up to this high ground, right? And then from this high ground, we can actually probably get off a really, really nice high noon from behind, right?
Yeah.
So consider just keeping the high ground versus dropping to worse positioning at a low HP. Right, so they cap point. We seem to have good decision making on that last point up until the last fight, right? But sometimes it's just the last mistake that ends up being the worst one that results in them winning the round.
4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Defend objective A. My will made real. Join me. Not ready.
Bang.
This is my will. Bedtime. Get into position.
Oh, excuse me.
I think I'd probably like to see us going high ground even for teams trying to go main because look what happens when they go main, right? We can kind of see this the first time we go main here. Go in the 2 times speed. Look at kind of what the enemy team ends up doing. Okay, so teams all main. Spectate this. Right now they have 1, 2, 3, 4 people up on the high ground, right? Contesting high ground. Okay. When we end up going main, Ana drops, Hog drops, Monkey drops, okay? Soldier drops. Okay, so now they have completely given up high ground, therefore high ground is very, very good free positioning that we can take, right? So something we can probably look to do is just go up high ground and lag it behind a second. Just like sit here, wait and listen, and then once we hear them all drop, then we can just kind of roll out on high ground here, and then we can maybe look to contest the BAP, or we can instead we can look to maybe just peek the edge and flashbang headshot the soldier or something like that, right? But then we might have this is a lot better of an angle than trying to go down main, and main probably is not the way we want to go at anyways. If you like to communicate at all, this is where we'd be saying, hey, go high ground, don't go main, right? Can we come high ground, because high ground's get much more effective here, and we're gonna be able to do a lot more. And main is, I probably say main is you're really never gonna go main ever on this map. The only time you go main is if you're like on dive and you can go from here to up here in half a second, right? Other than that, you should really never go main, because if you're just trying to run the point, all you have to do is go under, and then now you're just on point for free without having to take any spam damage, right? So this is just unnecessary damage in open space that we have to cross, and that's not good for us as McCree or our team. So that's a nice little plank we're doing there. So we probably want to go high ground, and we should probably try to be communicating this with our team. And if they're not listening, then just go high ground by yourself. Especially
we went high ground, or we went main this time around because we heard the jump rat and we didn't want to go up through that top.
Yep. And if you,
It's kind of rough. with
whenever
this
you say I don't want to go high ground because of Junkrat, your second thought, like the main two routes you always take on this map are top and bottom, right?
one. Oh,
Very rarely will you go left or right as a full team. Sometimes you'll send like for example, like you'll send snipers down main. Sometimes you can send flankers down left side. I think like Pharah is a good one that can go left side. But very rarely will you send your whole team down main or left side because it's just not really a good pushing angle. From high ground, you can take high ground. From low ground, you can run straight to point, and then that means that they
Mhm.
all have to drop on top of you, which makes them give up their high ground, right? But walking down main is just a less effective version of taking the low ground underneath.
Gotcha. Okay.
For the main purpose that it's like, and just so that you understand why, it's because of because then you can apply that to other maps too. Is you
Mhm.
don't want to have to walk through wide open areas because this is what you call no man's land. There's no cover anywhere. Okay, and in this
Right.
whole area, they can spam at you the whole time you're trying to walk in, and that means
Mhm.
that this is essentially like a super long choke point. Where let's say, for example, like we sit here and use High Noon, while they're trying to run into us, know where they
Right.
can run away to, right? So
Right. Yeah.
this is just not good because we're trying to walk in through that no man's land.
Okay.
Right. So here we're just kind of poking.
I need to recharge.
This will restore you. Surrender to my will.
Push on.
Well done. Power of defying their weakness and
All right.
claim the objective.
We didn't do a ton, but we still kept point.
Thank you kindly.
You're welcome.
So
Get into position.
yeah, right now my biggest on my mind right now as a DPS player is I'm
Escort.
am looking to push forward and take their high ground, but because they all got close spawn, we now have to worry about the fight, right? We have to be regrouping here because if we look behind us, we have 2 people in spawn, and then we're all spread
Right.
out up here. We should not be pushing because they have the man advantage in this if we're trying to start the fight right now.
Okay.
So we gotta just make sure we're paying attention to behind us, and so that we're not so super far forwards here. Yeah, it looks like we start backing up, but hopefully no one gets picked. Actually, we got a pick, so it ended up. We realized our mistake, and then we backed up, so that worked out well for us. You can look to play a little bit aggressive because now we have our whole team. We got 2 picks. We've won this fight pretty much. The reason, like, so I've definitely talked about how to read kill feed, and the reason why I say 1 to 2 or 2 to 3 is because that 2 is always kind of the middleman. It's because it can go either way depending on other factors like how low is each team on health, which team has more ultimates, which team is currently using more ultimates, who's in worse positioning. But right now we have gotten 2 picks before anything has happened, so that means that we've won this, right? We've pretty much already won this fight. Now let's say we got those 2 picks, but we're all critical HP. And they're in the process of using ultimates, then maybe that's a little bit closer. Or let's say we don't have any ultimates and they have like all 4 of their ultimates, then it's still a little bit closer. But because we've won this fight, we still have all our ults, we're still a full HP. Or sorry, we got those picks and we're still full HP, we still got all those ultimates, then that means we pretty much won this, as long as we don't feed and get picked. Nice Lash.
Yep. Primary fire.
Yep.
Trying to work on
I
that.
could use some shields.
Not ready. I will
Thank you.
rebuild you.
Dumb.
Yeah, just a little far onto the
Stupid way to
open,
go.
right? You just
Yeah.
watch the positioning because we're just out where we're not next to cover, and then that just results in our death. So make sure we're standing next to cover.
The payload moves.
I think we've talked about cover before. Good positioning is the usage of cover.
It ain't
Also, in between that fight, we want to be taking high ground. So like right now when we're walking back from spawn,
Watch and learn.
because we know that, I guess no, because we're about to cap here. So yeah, probably just want to walk main. This is a situation where on a bubble like that, yeah, just use your right click, because you don't need the slow, consistent damage. You just want to burst it down.
It's time.
Okay,
Didn't really need to do
so
that. either.
yeah,
The fight
just-
was won.
Just
Yeah,
watching.
as soon as I did it, I was like, wow,
Watch and
that's
learn.
great.
Yep.
Watch and learn.
Were you saying it as soon as you did it, watching it in the replay, or as soon as you did it
No, as soon as I did it in the
in
game, I
game?
was
Yeah.
like, why did I just push Q?
It's hand.
Yeah. So it's just always good to pay attention. Make sure you're using your flashbang there.
Now,
All right.
hold on.
Ensure that the payload has reached the checkpoint.
Yep. It seems like we're very consistent in both aim and mechanics and everything until these there's like these little pockets where all of a sudden we'll have brain farts and then we'll start missing every single shot and we'll
Yeah.
start just make a really dumb decision with our ultimate and stuff like that. But then every other time we just make really good decisions and we are hitting all our shots. So we just really gotta try to iron ourselves out so that we're being more consistent more of the time.
Hmm.
All in the day.
Double kill.
Nice picks. Okay, watch Junkrat, just awareness.
Hmm.
Okay, we peek the corner. Alright, we see Junkrat coming in from our left. We hear him.
All in the day.
We see
Double kill.
him land an inch from our face.
Yeah.
This is where we immediately roll backwards and turn and flashbang. We're a little bit slow with the roll away. We're a little bit slow with the turnaround, and we're a little bit slow with the flashbang. Right? We're just
Mhm.
not fast enough with that reaction. If we see him coming, we roll and flashbang immediately. Then that saves our life because he's stunned, right? And we can
Mhm.
probably even get the kill on him.
Well, now.
From afar.
Look to the I didn't know how long into his ulti was, but we probably could have looked to just flash him out of it, right? Especially if he's like looking to flash tanks like that just means that you can pretty much just like kill him pretty easily. Okay. So this is a scenario where you think of target priority. Have we discussed target priority before?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So this is just where we'd be going for Lucio, right, over the Roadhog, because Roadhog has
Mhm.
3 times the health. Roadhog, and they're both, laying on the ground, so we're just
Yeah.
gonna get more value out of tapping the Lucio and then swapping to the Roadhog and putting in some damage into him.
Mhm.
Because Roadhog doesn't even die after that, right? But we could have very easily gotten the Lucio. Okay, if we high noon now, it's very unlikely that we're gonna die. Soldier probably isn't gonna be able to kill us in time. If we start getting shot at, all we have to do is cancel. I'd probably start charging up high noon right about now because they're all out in the open, right? Lucio's out in the open, Zarya and Soldier
Mhm.
out in the open, and then really this is just a really good opportunity where we should be looking to use it. Okay, never mind, we use it. Good job.
Double kill.
Give it an extra second to charge up though, right? If we see that they're all in the open like this,
It's
Right.
high noon.
they're not about Lucio. How close is Lucio to getting behind something?
Uh, Not very.
Yep. So if we know that the only reason why we would do this immediately is if we see that Lucio is about an inch from getting behind cover, and then we just want to get that kill, right? But if we
Mhm.
can, if by holding it out a little bit longer,
Draw.
we line up an extra shot, then we hold on to it because no one is behind cover currently. Besides, somehow I think Soldier actually gets blocked.
Double
No, never
kill.
mind. He doesn't. He ran. He was being blocked from the tree for some
Thought I
reason.
saw a ghost.
But yeah, we probably just could have secured one more kill on the Zarya. Good consistent shots though. Follow it up.
Like both kinds of music. Country and western.
Yeah, I think I just gotta remember to like slow it down sometimes. Like,
Score.
cause like I get like too like hasty, and then I just make bad
The
decisions.
big
and then I
thing
miss
is we
the
just we gotta watch their position and the red dots, right? The red skulls. So, is somebody about to escape from it? If somebody's about to escape, then we use it. If we're about to die, then we use it. If it's completely safe and they're all out in the open, then we want to hold on to it longer. All right, so we swap over the Bastion here.
Attackers incoming. Defend objective
Right.
A.
Make sure you're communicating with your team to be in the same place. We want to be behind shield. Preferably, Orisa should be over here on top of us. But if we're saying Orisa, come over here, and she's not listening or she's out of voice chat, right? Then we go over to Orisa because we don't want to be out in the open by ourselves because then that lets Ana sleep us and nade us for free. That lets
Mhm.
Soldier and Baptiste and Tracer and Hog all just shoot at us for free. Reiner gets fire or he's gonna get fire strikes anyways. But all of them, like pretty much your entire team can just spam us for free, which just isn't how we want to be operating on Bastion. So make
Right.
sure we're kind of sitting behind that shield.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we're not in a great position.
yeah, I didn't
Especially,
do any of that.
yeah. Especially once they find out we're here.
I'm under attack. 30 seconds remaining.
They are running out of time. We must hold them back. I will not be denied.
All right, not much to critique here.
Yeah.
Indicate high probability of
It was
Yeah,
just,
yeah,
you know, they only had, you know, less than a minute to cap it, so I was
Mhm.
just being cheeky.
Ready for battle.
All right, so this time it looks like we're going high ground as a team. We're on a more of a dive here, or more of a we're kind of like a hybrid.
Defend objective A.
Okay, we go high ground. They're very good.
Get into position.
Enemy turret eliminated.
Okay, we see they're on the Bastion.
Real.
Watch out for that turret.
Okay.
Kind of trapped for a
Probably in
minute.
that scenario, it's better to try to take a different angle because we're not going to get much done from here, and it's just very easy for them for anyone on their team to just, you know, run around and shoot you. If Torb is paying any attention at all, or all Torb has to do is just run to where the hog is right now and just shoot at us. I think like Torb even sees us. I don't even know what he's doing. He like runs. It's like when hog tries to hook us here. He tries to hook us, and Torb's like looking straight at us, but for some reason he just doesn't shoot at us. And then, yeah, we probably just want to back up there. It's a good decision. I'd be going. The biggest thing I'd be trying to do is try to come around and wrap around the left side here, and then we can try to push them off high ground. There's multiple different ways that as a team we can try to counter the Bastion comp here. We can look to try to pick off the people who are not in the main bunker, which is Hog, Moria, Torb. We can look to flank around and push them off high ground or get picks, or we can look to force them to drop the point. Right? There's a few different ways that we can go about this.
Check. Enemy turret ahead.
Let's see what we do. Okay, gotta watch health, pay attention to where our team's at. Do we even yeah, so we're going in separated from our team, which is like alright, we just need to be very, very careful about our health when we're doing this. Also like pay attention to our positioning, right? Out in the open, and then next to cover. Better thing to do would have been to like hug this to where we can, you know, we start getting shot at, we go like this, right?
Right.
Now we're good. So hug this wall right here, and then that acts as cover for us, or this corner acts as cover for us instead of wide wrapping. Whereas where we die here, right from this angle, it takes us a whole second to get behind this wall, right? So just be very careful about the way that we're peeking. We need to be looking to back up faster, and we're probably also not going to find much value again coming just from that frontal angle.
Now they're running that way again. For whatever reason. In the same exact spot that I just died.
Turret destroyed.
Yeah, I definitely try to be doing something like bottom left, and just try to get up right here. Be just careful of the hog pushing us, and we can just turn this corner and try to pick off Mercy or Torb, right? Because they're both pretty squishy to where we can pick them off decently easy, as long as we get the surprise advantage on them. But from here, we're just really only going to get poke damage, and that's it. It's just too far away. Have we talked about McCree's range at all?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, so like you know, like McCree has a lot of fall off, and we're gonna be doing a lot less damage from this range just because it's so far away. So we will probably want to be looking to get to a closer position, because right now all we're doing is picking off turret, shoot, spam shield, doing tickle damage. If we're winning this, I would imagine that it's not on our own carrying terms. Oh, okay, very nice. Okay, so Mercy does end up just casually fly through the open. We get the mechanical shots on her.
It's
Okay, good high noon.
Hold up.
All right, so
Victory.
I think that last little bit there was
Mhm.
more of a mechanical thing where like the pick on the Mercy, we made up for our bad decision making with our positioning through
Mhm.
getting through the mechanical pick, right? So um
Yeah.
just keep in mind that you can probably get a very similar result from flanking, except for you're just going to be in a much better, safer position to where you can get closer to them and you'll be able to more effectively, like, get an off angle, whereas you sitting on main's not going to do much. Honestly,
Right.
I think that you played very well in this game. You had very good mechanics. You a lot of the time had good decision making. There were a few times where our ult usage was questionable. I think 2 times
Mhm.
particularly, or 3 times or I
Yeah.
think 3 times we ended up messing up our ultimates. But we a lot of the time, other than that, just had good decisions. Look to take high grounds as often as possible. Look to not stagger yourself. Use your ultimate in fights that you have not like. Your ultimate should be used in every single fight that you have not won
Right.
or lost. But we used it in a fight that was already won, or once we used it in a
Mhm.
fight that was won. Once we used it in a fight that was lost, and then that just meant that that's 2 ultimates down the drain.
Yeah.
Besides that, I think the timing on the rest of yours were pretty decent.
Okay.
There's a third one where we ended up doing it before we could even see anybody, so we just want to watch out for that. Um, yeah. Um, just gotta really the big thing is we want to look to just get more and more consistent so that we're not making as many mistakes, right? What
Right.
makes was the difference between like for example like pros, right? Pros have ironed out so many mistakes and so many things, and they're all so good that really what comes down to who wins uh is who makes more mistakes, right? So
Mhm.
and on top of that they also try to force mistakes out of each other. Um but really you're gonna be getting better if we can just get rid of the mistakes of okay, I'm wasting you wasted your ultimate 3 times in that game. You
Mhm.
were maybe positioned poorly a couple of times that game. You maybe weren't coming in at the right times. You're coming in during lost fights. So once we iron those out, then we'll be looking a lot better,
Okay.
right? So
Yeah, I'll put like a sticky note or something on my monitor of
mm,
slow down, or I don't know. I'll think of something that'll remind me to just take my
yep.
time a little bit more and
Yeah, the big thing is just kind of think about it before you're getting before you're getting on Overwatch for the day or even before each match. Think about what
Mhm.
you're trying to improve on so that you're not autopiloting through your game, right?
Okay.
So that you're not just going through like the same old same old. You want to actively think about what this game or what today am I looking to try to fix or improve on or stop doing, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. So that we did fly through that pretty fast, and I think that mainly came from the fact that it was very inconsistent where our mistakes were. We were
Mhm.
like I said, you were very consistent throughout the whole game. So do you have another game maybe that we could review for the next like 30 minutes here? Or
Um
20 minutes, sorry.
yeah, let me look real quick here. I don't really I think every the past two sessions and this one we've only done like payload maps.
Yeah.
Let me look for a this one's kind of short, but it's 10 minutes, I guess.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And
If
it's
it's 10 minutes will last us unless you absolutely rolled them, then this should last us the rest of the time.
well, it's 2-1 Alvelskaya. Um,
Mm.
I don't know. We'll see. It was a win on our part too. I did climb maybe about 100 SRs since
Oh
Monday.
nice.
Yeah. So
Yeah, kind of hard to get good replays when you're winning all the time.
yeah. Yeah, I think about that too, especially like yesterday and a little bit earlier today when I was playing. I was like oh maybe this will end up being like closer of a game or something, and I don't have something to
Mhm.
show T Boogie, but I sent it to you, the replay code. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Discord. But yeah, then we end up, I don't know, just crushing
Traveling
them the
to
second point or
Mosfire
something.
is ready for battle.
All right. Right, so here we on our team we're running mainly a kind of brawl comp, but with a little bit of brawly spam. Okay, the Kree, Echo, and Mercy add in the spam, and then the tanks and Lucio are the brawl. And then on the enemy team, they're mainly running a brawl comp, and then they have a soldier and Junkrat who add a little bit of spam on their end.
Enemy contact.
Right now, you're just doing the right thing. Right now, we just want to be just spamming out shields, putting in pressure. Make sure we're trying not to, like, when we can actively be shooting, probably don't want to, like, reload after one single shot fired.
Mhm.
Okay, we get a... Oh, no, that's the enemy pick. We're red team now. Okay. They get a pick on us. We're playing a little bit passive. We get a res, but then Echo ends up dying, so we're still down one. Missing a lot of shots there. Just make sure we're, focusing on the aim when we're aiming at big shields and
Back into
big
the
tank
mix.
targets. Just gotta put the brain process power into it. Okay, teams all grouped up. Aggression is kind of neutral right now.
Moving up.
Okay, Reinhardt's push forward, we get a pick, right? Make sure we're kind of keeping pace with our team. If they're trying to push in past choke, we're up where our Zarya is and Mercy is, not sitting back here. Because again, remember, like, we'll be doing a lot less damage from here. We'll have a lot less angles, and we just
Mhm.
want to be applying pressure when our team's applying pressure. Now, we also have a pick, so that means we can be more aggressive. Right now, we just want to be playing a lot more aggressive and up in their face. Keep in mind, a play that we can go for on enemy Reinhardt, so we're trying to, open up and make a play ourselves,
Mhm.
is flash over his shield, right? And then
Right, yeah.
when we can flash over shield, that allows us, pretty much our whole team, to just absolutely shred him. Um, Maybe watch for bubbles, right? So we can use it after bubbles gone. And try not to do it so often. Actually, you can probably get away with it pretty often, especially since it's. I think are you at plat still, right?
Yeah.
So you can probably get away with it very, very often. Maybe in a GM game, you might have to do it less frequently because people can just get used to it. But
Mhm.
okay, we're up 2, right? We're sort of playing super, super aggro. Talked about crosshair placement before, so as we're
Right.
turning this corner, yep, I've seen a lot of body shots so far, so just make sure we're looking to aim at head level, because look at when we're turning this corner, look at where we have our crosshair at, right? She jumped,
Mhm.
but even if when she's aiming body level, crosshair is at her, chest, right?
Mhm.
And that just means that we're gonna be doing less damage. So make sure we're aiming at that head level, because a lot of the times we have very, very good accurate aim. But I also noticed that I think most of the time we're landing shots, it is body shots. We have a very low headshot
Yeah.
accuracy. And that's because we're walking around here like, we're just holding our crosshair here. Like we can see it's consistently there. Every time you shoot, it goes up a little bit, but then it just comes back down to here. I keep
Mhm.
pausing it as we shoot, but it
Yeah.
comes down, right? So we're just continuously just keeping it at that spot. But if we can consistently keep it at the head level, then that means that all of those shots that we're landing on our body are just turning into those headshots.
Right.
Easy.
Double.
Very nice. Good shots.
I'm on fire.
I'm on.
Lead us to victory.
Right, so coming into this fight, both teams pretty much have like all their ultimates. Big thing I would be looking to do here is try to combo our ultimates with a Reinhardt or Zarya. I think Zarya probably be the best to combo with. But when we
Mhm.
know that we have those big ults that we can combo with, we probably don't need to look to use it on our own, right? Since we can just
Right.
combo it. So if Zarya grabs them all there, even if they have Reinhardt shield, what are they gonna do? Run away, right? While they're
Right. Yeah.
grabbed. So all
Yeah.
we have to do is just sit behind our Ryan shield or our tanks or even our whole team, right? We can just sit behind our whole team and high noon all of them while they're in grab. We break through
Mhm.
shield, we get a couple picks, right? And then that's a easy combo. So grab high noon is very effective, and then also if Reinhardt lands a big fat shatter, that's also a combo that we can look to do as well.
Okay.
Objective A captured. New
Here,
defense point.
because we
Objective
know that
B.
they're on Shatter Graph, I'd probably be looking to play pretty far back away from our team so that we're not getting caught up in the grav by ourselves. Because that, what we can do is, like, for example, let's say they use grav, we can high noon, and then if we're not stuck in it at least, and then that creates space for our team to not end up dying to grav, right? If we're
Right.
high nooning, they can't push forward aggressively, which means that our
Right.
team takes a lot less damage. So that's something we can look to use. Same thing with shatter,
Okay.
right? If they land a shatter on some of our teammates, we high noon and that covers for them as a defensive ultimate.
Okay.
We can look to use high noon for defensive against like a nano blade if we're sitting really, really, really far back, right? You just got to watch for the
Yeah. Yeah.
got to watch for the deflect, but that's pretty much it. So just make sure when you know you're high nooning against a Genji that you're watching for deflects. But we can sometimes also use high noon defensively as well.
Okay.
So here, what I'd be looking for is because of those big ultimates that are that can go bad for us very fast if we're all clumped together. We want to stay a little bit spread out.
Oh, excuse.
Good shots.
Work on that.
Because we have beat here, this is perfect on the high noon. Right here, we high noon. No, high noon. Go for it. Okay, we got the kills anyways. All right. But yeah, that's a absolutely perfect opportunity where we should be popping high noon. They're shattered, right? We have beat, so we have 700 HP. We have a good high ground flank angle. We have 3 people in our line of sight. This is an absolute perfect opportunity to high noon. So that's just something you can look for, and then that way we're damaging them just a little bit faster with a little bit of a more of a burst. So we do end up landing all of the shots, so that makes up for it slightly. When we're sit a little bit further back, because if we're sitting right here, you know, and we have line of sight over all of point, and we have half a tick left, all we have to do is high noon on that last half a tick, right? And then that means that anybody who comes to contest point, we just shred, right? Okay, that's exactly what we're doing. I just sit a little bit further back because sitting on point just makes it a little bit riskier for us. But that's exactly what you want to do. Really good high noon usage there.
Nice shot, Jesse.
Order will be restored.
Ready.
Oh, interesting. The sim.
Ready for battle.
Oh yeah, I forgot how to play on Sim. But
Okay.
yeah,
Good.
I've really been liking the Sim
Hmm?
gameplay a lot lately. So
All right. So good turret setup. You know, that's pretty much what you want to be doing as long as your team's holding there. Where do we have TP set up? Do we have TP back from spawn? Is
yeah,
that what we have?
it's back from
Yeah.
spawn.
All right. When you're doing that TP, probably want to, because if they push in aggressively, right, and they start capping point, that's the only time the TP back from spawn is really going to be really super useful, is because it gets your team back to the fights faster, right? So, you want to put in a safe spot to where it's really hard for them to find. But if anybody just kind of waltzes and they can just glance it there and shoot at it, so maybe instead what we can do with it is put it a little bit further this way, right, and then that way it's a little
Okay.
maybe behind a second wall, and it's a little bit harder to see, right?
Would it be better to put it like on the stairs over
Over
there?
here,
Yeah.
like from there to here,
Yeah.
that could also work. I think either or works. Because
Okay.
putting it to the stairs here, yeah, would get you the high ground faster, right? Anybody looking to get the high ground, so yeah, I think that'd be pretty good as well.
Executing flight maneuvers.
Okay, know your beam range here. I believe that's like we can probably go test that on the. Would you like to go test that on the practice range real quick? Because
Yeah, sure.
we just want to make sure that we know that, so that we can always we know, because anytime that you're outside of that range, you need to make sure that you're looking to right click. Because if we're otherwise we're not doing any damage at all, right?
Is disorder.
Okay, we'll go down to this one just so we getting at longer range. I believe it is 10 meters. Or no, 10 meters is too close. 15 meters? No? Oh, okay, so it's like 13-ish.
13. Okay.
Yeah, so we can't damage from here, right, but we can damage from here. So it's around 13 meters, I would say.
Okay.
Okay, so make sure anytime we're outside of that range, we're doing right clicks. And then that way we're not wasting, any time where we're just doing nothing.
Yeah, I think the more that I play her, the Volskaya,
Traveling to
the
Volskaya is
I'll
ready
just get a
for
better
battle.
feel for the range of that. 'Cause I don't know. I don't have very much time with her.
5, 4.
Okay, good swapping to the Zarya, good swapping to junk, good target priority there. We just got kind of tunnel vision and then got caught off guard by the charge. So make sure, yeah, it really sucks and you have to get used to it. But even if we're in the middle of like actively shooting at somebody, we still need to try to pay attention and listen and watch to what's happening around us. Because then we get, if we're always just paying attention to the
Of imagination.
one single person we're shooting at, then we forget about the entire fight around us.
Mhm.
And this turret's probably not the best spot because that's just super easy to shoot at when they turn the
Mhm.
corner. You want to, because they could shoot at that even from the choke here, right? And then
Right.
you want to place turrets to where it's a nuisance to have to deal with or turn around to get, right? Because otherwise it's just very easy to destroy and get rid of.
Yeah, I put it there because the Sombra was around, and I just kind of wanted to like
Um,
deter her a little bit.
does
Maybe like
do
inside
turrets?
of the
I
bush would be
don't
fun.
I don't know if turrets actually detect that. Turrets will.
No, it doesn't detect her, but like if she like goes to hack or something like
Uh
that,
huh.
it'll stop her from
All
hacking.
right.
Was my thought process anyway.
Uh-huh. Well, then maybe if you're trying to do that, maybe from the instead of the left room here, you might like want to do it maybe just like more plop it on the ground behind you
Mhm.
guys. Um
Okay.
because that's like I guess like yeah, she might come into this room, but that doesn't really get a really good angle on people. It's probably more
Mhm.
light, like it covers more surface area if it makes sense. It's going to be able to
Mhm.
hit more things if you just plop it at your feet in between all of you.
Okay.
Time to raise my APM.
Yahi parambasta vikta hai.
All right. Pretty decent wall.
I'm gonna have to shoot you down.
I am on such a lack of imagination.
Okay, so turrets are decent.
Sensors in place.
TP is decent. We're left clicking a decent amount, right? And we use wall decently there. So all in a very good Sombra gameplay or Sombra, yeah, symmetric gameplay so far. All right, make sure that when somebody's on top of you, running towards your team, not away from your team. So also pay attention
Okay.
to tabs that we know that they swap to the monkey here. Um,
Mhm.
Here what we do is monkey dives us, and then look at where tanks are at, right? And where teams at,
Right.
and we run the opposite direction, right? We run to a point, which is not where we want to run. Don't run backwards and the monkey's diving us. We run forwards. That way,
Okay.
or forwards to our team, right? That way, our team doesn't have to chase us. We're getting close to them.
Enemy contact.
Mhm. Okay.
Okay. Tunnel visioning on one person again, right? Make sure we're
Yeah.
paying attention to the other 4 people that are here, not just one monkey.
Yeah.
And we don't
Ah,
have
he was
to.
so close to death. I just wanted that kill
Yep.
so bad.
Keep in
But
mind
yeah.
we can also go for those shots at this corner, right?
Mhm.
We can probably reach him just from here, right? Because that's within 13 meters.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
we don't have to hard peek it. And if we're sacrificing our life to get a kill, 1-for-1 is really never the play, and we don't even go 1-for-1 here.
Mhm.
Yep. Very rarely are you gonna want to go for 1-for-1 because then we lose our carrying potential. They have closer spawn here than us.
Mhm.
You can make 1-for-1 works a lot better on over here because that means we have the spawn advantage, but we also lose our
Right.
carrying potential when we go for 1v1 right? Because you as a DPS you should be getting more than 1 kill.
Yeah.
Just if you're getting a 1 KD, that's absolutely garbage on
My
DPS.
work is
Yep.
not complete.
2 KD is like the very very bare minimum to where you're not doing good at all. You're just maybe doing your job. 5 KD is where you're having a decent game. 10 KD plus is where you're carrying.
It is almost ready.
Okay.
Defense
Our fates
Yeah,
are
we
in
already got a pick, so I like that we're not looking to use our ult immediately here. Since we have the advantage and spawn advantage, we're just kind of just playing it by ear. They got a pick. Should be looking to use our ult whenever they start pushing forwards here. As soon as we should be spamming Q so that we can use our ult as soon as we come out there. Holding on to it a little bit long here. We also don't have turrets set up, right? No turrets set
Mhm.
up, no TP set up. Since we don't have to go for any spawn TP now, Probably the
Mhm.
best thing we can do with turrets and TP is go for TP bombs, right? We're also not hard
Right.
holding any choke now. We can maybe set up turrets here or set up turrets like on the high ground here, but
Mhm.
TP bombs can also be very effective. Just so I'm aware, or just so I know that you understand that you know what TP bomb is, right?
I know what it is. I have
Yeah.
to practice it a little bit though, because I don't know where to put the turrets on the ground first, and then like
Yep.
how
You
close I
essentially
have to be standing.
Yeah, you just toss them in all in the same spot, right?
Mhm.
You throwing at the ground doesn't have to be anywhere specific. It just needs to be
Mhm.
straight at your feet, all on top of each other, and then your TP you can look at when you place TP, it'll give you an outline, right? You'll be able to see where TP is going, so it makes it decently easy because you can see. Or is it, actually, does it give you the outline of it right next to you? Try this. No, it
The
doesn't. Okay,
true enemy
but
of man
essentially we
is
just throw it all
indecision.
down in one spot, right?
Mhm.
We're gonna stand right like to where TP's gonna go right in front of us, right? So we're gonna stand
My
TP,
teleporter
right, and
is
then it goes right on
online.
top of that.
Okay.
So we're essentially just throwing it down at our
The
feet, and
thugs
then
seem evil now.
we're dropping TP to where we're standing a little bit behind the turrets.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I'll try and incorporate that a little bit.
Traveling to Volskaya Industries. Ready for battle.
I think I've only tried doing that like once or twice, and both times like the turrets just end up sitting like on the ground, and that the TP was not even close.
Uh,
Reversing personality module. Taking off. Beam
all
activated.
right. Awareness, right? Just pay attention to what's happening around you. Look left, look
My
right.
work is not complete.
Keep your
Photon
ears
weapons
open.
ready for deployment.
Make sure you're paying attention.
Mhm.
Right. So
My teleporter is online.
you're setting up that TP, try to hug the corner as tight as possible so they can't destroy it from this angle.
Okay.
Also, when you're trying to put it on the high ground, you always try to get both ends as safe as possible so they can't spam it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so you try to place it so that both ends are
Online.
not gonna just get destroyed instantly. Okay, wanna look to use our ultimate again, right? We're very delayed with it, so ultimates when it
Right.
comes to using them, ultimates that are used first get more value than ultimates that are used second. So if they come in here,
Okay.
for example, right, they come in and they EMP immediately. Or actually, maybe we were waiting at the EMP. Do you think maybe
Oh, yeah,
that's
I was.
yeah? All right,
Yeah, because I know that that destroys the
yeah,
wall.
that's possible. When we know that we have our ultimate, though, right? When we know that we're trying to get off our ultimate, don't play so
Mhm.
aggressive, especially if you know that you're, 80 HP, 60 HP. We kind of are
Mhm.
staying in there instead of backing up. Let me start getting healed. Right now, we instead of shooting him, we should probably be. Actually, he's 1 HP. Go ahead and shoot him. Go, get him.
Yahi
We're
param
running away when he's 1 HP.
astaghfir.
Alright, there we go.
Sentry turret placed. System upgrade.
Okay. Ult just came out very delayed there.
Mhm.
Besides that, and we also ran away from Monkey when he was 1
I
HP, so
am
pay
on
attention to health
fire.
bars.
Okay.
Defenses in place.
I think it was fine once I didn't realize that they had the EMP there, but it's pretty much as soon as the EMP, we're using it right afterwards. Right, we want to
Okay.
use it earlier rather than later.
Accelerate.
The earlier you use your ult, the more value. Oh, come on, joking. I was trying to pause. Um, the earlier you use your ultimate, the more value you just inherently get out of it.
Turret. Yahi param.
Sinistro.
I have no idea how he got over there. I was
Turret
super
online.
confused.
Okay, be up with your Reinhardt and Brawl range, right? Because then that's the range where we can get beam our third charge beam going, right? And that's where we're
Mhm.
doing our real damage. So you're on Symmetra, you're a Brawl character. You want to be
Okay.
within that 13-meter radius at all times, as long as your team's with you. So if your
Okay.
tanks are holding up a choke, you go hold up a choke
Teleport
with them.
online. I have opened the
Okay.
portal.
So Symmetra is not a spam character. She's not gonna just sit there and shoot, right, the whole time. That's only if that's the only thing you can do.
60 seconds
Okay.
remaining.
Okay, replace your turrets. Turrets are not placed currently. Make sure we're always placing those. Pay attention to them.
Turret deployed.
Okay. Not great positioning on those turrets, right?
Mhm.
We would want
Yeah, they
turrets
get
to be, yeah, they're just gonna get destroyed instantly here. We want turrets to be a nuisance and to last as long as possible. Those turrets are just gonna get destroyed immediately after we place them because it's in a spot where our team's not pushed forward that far. Therefore,
Mhm.
we can't be a distraction. All they have to do is just peek, kill, and then they're gone. Right?
Mhm.
On this side, when they can't just peek, kill, and then they're gone because our team's gonna be engaging on them as soon as they come through this choke. So this choke is a much better place to have these turrets set up.
Okay.
Perfect alignment.
So you see how this turret right next to Reinhardt didn't go down immediately.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did just go down. So well,
Yahi parambasta
try to wait till
bhagate.
they're walking through the choke a little bit there. But it looks like our team did push forward past choke.
10 seconds.
We also backed up a little far away from the point
Mhm.
while we're using this wall or like the choke, right? We want to be holding choke because remember we're a brawl character. Our whole team's holding choke. We walked a little bit far back here. Keep in mind that.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm coughing.
Oh, you're all right.
All right, so keep in mind that it will extend back behind you, so you don't really have to worry about that, right?
Mhm.
So just hold up there. Well, you want to be like starting off right here rather than walking back to point.
Okay.
10 seconds.
Heroes never die.
Yeah, turrets weren't set up. All right, we got point anyways. All right, so
Victory.
that pretty much wraps up the time that we have for this session. Do you have any questions
Yeah.
on anything that we've